He obtained a German shepherd for his paralyzed son. But what the dog did next left them in tears. They say a father will do anything to see his child smile again, even when doctors claim there is no hope left. Every day he watched his little boy sit silently, paralyzed. Not just physically, but in spirit, until one day he brought home a German shepherd. Not as a cure, not as a miracle, just as a final desperate act of love. But what that dog did afterward no one foresaw. It changed their lives and brought tears to all. If this moment moved you, share it in the comments. Have you ever seen an animal change a life? Your story might be the next legend we uncover. The boy's name was Adam, just 7 years old, with a smile that used to brighten rooms. Until the accident. A drunk driver ran a red light. One moment he was chasing bubbles in the back seat, and the next he was in a hospital bed. Silent, unmoving. His spine was crushed, his legs unresponsive, and worse, he had stopped speaking. No words, not even a tear, just silence. His father, Daniel, tried everything: therapy, toys, even puppet shows, but Adam had disappeared into himself. It was as if the little boy he once knew was locked behind a glass wall, unreachable. Daniel sat by his bedside night after night, whispering stories, wiping drool from his chin, praying to a God he wasn't sure still listened. Then came Buddy. A dog who didn't seem special at first glance, just a young German shepherd with kind eyes and oversized paws. Daniel had found him at a rescue shelter, last in a cage labeled "nervous with children." But something about that dog. The way he pressed his head into Daniel's palm, the fact that he didn't bark but just watched, felt like fate. Daniel didn't bring Buddy home expecting a miracle. He simply hoped the dog might make the silence less heavy. When Buddy first saw Adam, he didn't rush in excitement. Instead, he approached slowly, cautiously, almost as if he sensed the pain filling the room. He sat beside the wheelchair, eyes never leaving the boy. Minutes went by, nothing happened. Adam didn't flinch, didn't look, but Buddy stayed still. Quiet, loyal. The next morning, everything changed. Daniel had left the room for just a moment, and when he returned, Buddy had gently placed his head on Adam's lap. Adam's fingers twitched. Just a little, but it was the first movement in weeks. Daniel stared, wide-eyed. "Adam?" he whispered. Nothing. But then the boy blinked slowly, and Daniel knew that something had shifted. The days that followed were miracles. Small, miraculous moments strung together. Buddy would nuzzle Adam's hand, and Adam's fingers would curl. Buddy would lick Adam's cheek, and Adam's lips would twitch, almost like a smile trying to reemerge, trying to be reborn. Then one morning, Daniel heard something he thought he would never hear again. Laughter, soft, broken but genuine. Adam was laughing as Buddy rolled on the carpet, belly up, paws in the air like a clown. Tears poured down Daniel's face. He dropped to his knees, kissing his son's hand repeatedly. Adam didn't pull away this time. He looked directly at his father and uttered one word, "Buddy." Daniel's breath caught. The boy who hadn't spoken in months had spoken, all because of a dog who wasn't even supposed to be good with children. From that day on, Buddy never left Adam's side. He slept beneath his bed, waited by the bathroom door when therapists came, nudging Adam to walk further, hold on longer. Adam's progress accelerated in ways no doctor could explain, but the true miracle happened 6 months later. The family was in the park, Adam in his wheelchair, Buddy walking beside him proudly, like a soldier guarding a prince. Daniel was tying his shoe when he heard a gasp, followed by applause. Turning around, he saw Adam, shaky, yes, wobbling, yes, but standing. Both hands on Buddy's back, using him as support. The dog stood perfectly still, as if knowing this was the moment. One small step, then another. 4 steps later, Adam collapsed back into his chair, panting. But Daniel remained still, because in those 4 steps, he had witnessed something science couldn't explain. Love had moved what doctors said could never move again. That night, as Adam slept with Buddy curled against his legs, Daniel sat in the hallway, hands tangled in his hair, crying tears of joy, not sadness, because his son was returning to him piece by piece. And it had nothing to do with medicine. It was entirely about the heart of a dog left behind. Buddy was no ordinary dog. He was a healer, a protector, a bridge between silence and laughter, despair and hope. Even years later, when Adam walks unaided, when he runs across the backyard with Buddy barking joyfully behind him, Daniel often finds himself watching through the kitchen window, still amazed. That single decision to take a chance on a broken dog ended up healing a broken boy. The years passed, but Buddy never changed. He remained Adam's shadow, his silent guardian. Through every stumble, every therapy session, every fall, Buddy was there. Steady, patient, devoted like no human could ever be. When Adam had his first day at school alone, walking on his own, Buddy waited outside the classroom the entire time. Permitted by teachers who understood that Buddy wasn't just a dog. He was part of Adam's story, woven into every step. During recess, other children gathered around Adam, asking about the big, fluffy dog who seemed to understand every command without a word. Adam would smile confidently now, shoulders taller, and say, "He's my best friend. He gave me back my legs." And he wasn't wrong. Their bond became something sacred, something even Daniel couldn't fully explain. He'd often catch Buddy watching Adam in silence, as if guarding something fragile, something precious. Love lived in those eyes. Deep, unspoken love, louder than words. Then came winter, and Buddy began to slow down. His steps grew heavier. He stopped chasing birds in the backyard, and he slept more. One day, after watching Adam complete an entire staircase unaided, Buddy lay at the top, tail wagging once, then still. He passed peacefully. Adam was 14. First, he didn't cry, he just sat quietly, petting his best friend's head, whispering thank you over and over. Daniel wanted to say something, anything, but he knew that this goodbye didn't need words. They buried Buddy beneath the same oak tree where Adam had taken his first unassisted step. They placed his leash beside him and a small sign that read, "The dog who taught me to walk." Years later, Adam would speak at a school assembly, sharing his story with a room full of children. He stood tall, no cane, no chair, just a strong young man with fire in his eyes. He ended his speech by saying, "I had doctors, therapists, medicine, but what brought me back to life wasn't any of those. It was love. It was loyalty. It was a dog named Buddy who believed in me when I didn't believe in myself." The room fell silent, then erupted in applause. Some cried, others stood, but everyone left with one memory. That sometimes, the purest love comes from the hearts beating on four legs. So, if you ever wonder whether animals can heal, remember Adam and Buddy, a boy who couldn't walk, a dog who wouldn't give up, and a father who trusted love more than logic. This isn't just a story, it's a legend, a furry legend unraveled. If the story moved you, share it and tell us in the comments. Have you ever had an animal save your soul? Because your story might be the next legend we bring to light.